What if I told you that the greatest power you will ever hold is not in your hands, not in your circumstances, and not in your resources, but in your ability to imagine a life bigger than your fears? There are moments in life when reality feels too heavy, too limiting, too loud. Moments when the world tells you what you cannot be, should not dream, and must not attempt. But inside you, quietly, softly, courageously, lives a force that can rewrite everything: your imagination. It is the canvas where possibilities breathe, the space where hope is born, and the sanctuary where your future begins long before the world sees it. When life gives you reasons to shrink, imagination dares you to expand. When people doubt your steps, imagination whispers new paths beneath your feet. And when situations break you open, imagination builds you again stronger, wiser, braver. Today, let us celebrate that power within you, the power to dream beyond circumstances, to create before you become, and to imagine a life that reflects the greatness you carry inside. Imagination is the birthplace of transformation. Imagination begins working long before your circumstances change, whispering possibilities into your heart when the world around you feels heavy and unkind. It paints pictures of hope when reality feels colorless and overwhelming, reminding you that transformation does not need permission from your past. It allows you to rise beyond what you can touch and step into what you can only feel. It becomes the quiet spark that keeps your spirit from shrinking even when everything seems uncertain. It gives you the courage to believe that something new is waiting for you. And from that one belief, transformation quietly begins growing within you. There are days when life makes you feel stuck, repeating the same patterns and carrying the same burdens. But imagination enters those moments like a fresh breeze, clearing space for new thoughts and new possibilities to emerge within you. It takes the heaviness of your present and softens it with visions of a brighter future that only you can see. It encourages you to break away from the limitations you have accepted for too long. It tells you that change is not only possible but already growing inside your mind. It allows you to detach from the version of yourself that pain created, and it gently guides you toward the version of yourself that strength is shaping. Imagination is the inner place where your transformation starts taking shape even before your life catches up. It helps you rise above the noise, the doubts, and the expectations that others place on you. It shows you a direction when reality feels directionless, giving you the clarity to begin again. It lets you visualize the life you want before you learn how to build it. It nurtures the belief that your future is bigger than your fear. It teaches you to trust what your heart sees even when your eyes cannot. And it becomes the foundation you stand on when the world feels shaky. The truth is, your transformation begins the moment you allow yourself to imagine something different from your current situation. The moment you close your eyes and picture a life that aligns with your deepest desires, you plant the seeds of change. Those seeds grow roots long before you see the first signs of progress. They grow quietly in the unseen parts of your soul, preparing you for the path you are meant to walk. With every imagined possibility, you expand the boundaries of your life. With every silent vision, you move closer to becoming who you were meant to be. And with every moment of belief, you shift your entire direction. Imagination holds the power to lift you out of places you once thought you were stuck in forever. It rewrites the narrative that pain or failure once created for you. It turns the impossible into something you can reach, even if step by step. It helps you find meaning in moments that feel meaningless, reminding you that growth is always happening beneath the surface. It gives you permission to dream without limitations, to desire without fear, and to create without apology. It pushes you gently toward change even when you are afraid of what change might bring. And it strengthens you for the transformation your soul is longing for. As you nurture your imagination, you begin noticing shifts inside you that the world cannot see. Your thoughts become lighter, your heart becomes braver, and your vision becomes clearer. You start responding to life with more courage and less fear. You find yourself taking steps that felt impossible before, guided by an inner picture that inspires you. You begin believing in opportunities that once seemed far away. You start challenging the boundaries you once thought were fixed. And slowly, transformation becomes a natural part of your journey rather than a distant dream. One day, you will look back and realize that the moment your life began to change was not when circumstances improved, but when your imagination awakened. You will see that the transformation you experienced came from the visions you dared to create when everything around you felt limiting. You will understand that you rose not because the world made space for you, but because your imagination made space within you. And in that realization, you will find strength to dream even bigger, because now you know that transformation always begins in the invisible places of your heart. Imagination turns limitations into possibilities. Limitations often appear as unbreakable walls, convincing you that the path ahead has ended. But imagination challenges those walls with silent rebellion. It steps into the boundaries that life draws around you and redraws them into doorways you never knew were possible. It gives you the ability to see potential hidden in the very situations that feel restrictive and painful. It transforms your perspective from frustration to curiosity, from confinement to creativity. It helps you believe that your story doesn't end where difficulty begins. And in that belief, new possibilities start to bloom within you. When you look at a limitation through the lens of imagination, it stops being something that blocks you and becomes something that guides you instead. It pushes you to search for solutions you never considered before. It encourages you to bend, stretch, and expand in ways that strengthen your inner resilience. It allows you to reinterpret obstacles as opportunities to become more resourceful. It shows you that your mind can always find a way even when your situation feels unyielding. It gives you light in moments that appear hopeless. And it teaches you that the smallest shift in thought can create the largest shift in your reality. Imagination has the power to turn your fear into fuel. When you're afraid of what lies ahead, imagination doesn't silence the fear, it transforms it. It helps you envision outcomes that give courage to your spirit and hope to your heart. It allows you to move forward even when you feel uncertain. It gives you the willingness to explore what's on the other side of your hesitation. It helps you reclaim strength from situations trying to drain it. And it shows you that fear loses its grip the moment you dare to imagine something greater than it. Every challenge you face carries a hidden possibility within it. But you can only see it if you allow imagination to guide your thoughts. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" imagination helps you ask, "What can I make out of this?" That simple shift opens a new pathway toward growth. It helps you step back and look at your circumstances with a wider perspective. It allows you to rise above your frustrations instead of being swallowed by them. It encourages you to make choices from a place of possibility rather than limitation. And it strengthens your ability to turn setbacks into stepping stones. The moments when you feel most limited are the moments when imagination becomes the most powerful. It stands beside you when the world feels overwhelming and whispers that there is still more inside you. It gives you pictures of triumph when all you can see is struggle. It keeps your hope alive by expanding your inner vision beyond what your circumstances show. It reminds you that obstacles are not permanent, and your creativity is stronger than your constraints. It helps you trust the journey even when you cannot predict the outcome. And it gives you the courage to keep moving even when the path is unclear. Imagination teaches you that limitations are not barriers but invitations to grow. It pushes you to think differently, act differently, and rise differently. It encourages you to break patterns that once held you back. It opens your mind to ways of living you didn't know were available to you. It strengthens your connection with your inner wisdom and guides you to possibilities that align with your purpose. It helps you reclaim control in situations where you feel powerless. And it leads you toward choices that help you build a life defined by growth rather than fear. As you learn to let imagination shape your understanding of limitations, you begin to notice possibilities everywhere. You start to see opportunities hidden in discomfort, lessons wrapped inside challenges, and strength blooming from struggle. You realize that the limits you once feared were actually gateways to a greater version of yourself. You understand that possibilities were always available to you, you just needed the courage to see them. And in that realization, you discover a new level of freedom, one that empowers you to turn every limitation into a stepping stone toward limitless growth. Imagination fuels resilience. Resilience does not begin in strength, but in the quiet corners of your mind where hope is trying to survive. When life breaks your rhythm, Imagination reshapes it into something softer, something bearable. It gives your heart the courage to keep beating through pain that feels impossible to carry. It paints a picture of recovery even when you feel too tired to move forward. It lights a small flame inside you that refuses to go out. It helps you breathe when the weight of everything feels suffocating. And it stands with you in the darkness, whispering that the light will return. When you imagine a better tomorrow, your spirit finds a reason to stand again, even if your body feels weak. Imagination becomes the bridge between who you are in this moment and who you are capable of becoming. It shows you that your struggle is temporary, even if your heart feels overwhelmed. It reminds you that healing has its own pace, and you don't need to rush to be okay. It gives you strength in small doses, enough to face one moment at a time. It helps you trust that life still holds beauty beyond what you're experiencing. And it keeps your soul moving even when your feet cannot. Imagination gives you the ability to rise above moments that try to break you. It helps you see beyond your tears, beyond your exhaustion, beyond your fear. It lets you envision yourself standing strong again, even when you have no idea how you'll get there. It teaches you that resilience is built in silence, not in noise. It shows you that even in your weakest moments, you are becoming stronger. It allows you to picture a version of yourself that is wiser and more grounded. And it fills your heart with the hope needed to endure what feels unbearable. Resilience grows every time your imagination gives you a destination to walk toward. When you can imagine yourself healing, you begin healing. When you can imagine yourself growing, you begin growing. When you can imagine yourself rising, you begin rising. Imagination becomes your inner compass, guiding you through emotional storms you never asked for. It helps you reinterpret pain as part of your evolution instead of a setback. It gives you meaning when life feels empty. And it helps you trust that your strength is slowly rebuilding inside you. In difficult moments, imagination becomes your anchor. It keeps you grounded in hope when everything around you feels uncertain. It helps you see purpose in the pieces of your heart that feel shattered. It gently shows you the possibility of rebuilding even when you feel broken. It helps you understand that resilience is not about being unhurt, but about continuing to move with a heart that has been hurt. It strengthens your emotional endurance and helps you rise with more awareness. And it reminds you that your story doesn't end with the moments that wounded you. As you continue imagining different versions of yourself, stronger, calmer, more centered, you begin living into them. Your thoughts begin shifting, your actions begin aligning, and your energy begins transforming. You find yourself responding to life with more courage and less fear. You stop seeing challenges as something that destroys you and start seeing them as something that shapes you. You begin choosing hope in moments when despair feels easier. And you learn to carry your pain with grace instead of letting it define you. One day, you will realize that it wasn't the situation that made you resilient, but the imagination that allowed you to survive it. You will see that every vision of healing you created inside your heart became the strength that carried you forward. You will understand that resilience is built through the pictures you paint for yourself when everything feels dark. And in that understanding, you will honor the version of you who kept imagining light even when surrounded by darkness. Imagination creates identity. Identity is not something you stumble upon. It is something you create from the inside out. And imagination becomes the sculptor of who you are becoming. It allows you to see yourself beyond your mistakes, beyond your fears, beyond the label society tries to place on you. It shows you a version of yourself that is rooted in possibility rather than limitation. It gives you the power to rise above the opinions that once shaped your reflection. It frees you from clinging to identities that were created in moments of pain. And it allows you to imagine who you truly want to be. There are times when you look in the mirror and see only the parts of yourself that feel incomplete or imperfect. But imagination gently shifts that reflection, showing you a version of yourself that carries strength in softness and growth in struggle. It reminds you that identity is not about what went wrong, but about who you choose to become despite what went wrong. It teaches you that your story is not determined by your past chapters, but by the chapter you are willing to imagine next. It helps you paint a self-image that aligns with your dreams instead of your fears. And it gives you the courage to embrace the person you are evolving into. As you begin imagining the person you want to become, your life slowly starts aligning with that vision. Your choices begin reflecting your values instead of your insecurities. Your voice becomes clearer and your steps become more intentional. You start releasing habits that do not belong to your future. You begin walking away from environments that shrink you. You grow into the version of yourself that feels deeply authentic. And you realize that imagination is not just a dream, it is a blueprint for the life you are creating. Imagination liberates you from the identities imposed on you by others. People may have defined you based on your past, your failures, or your circumstances, but imagination allows you to redefine yourself. It gives you the authority to outgrow old narratives and step into new ones. It gives you permission to evolve without needing approval. It helps you create an identity that feels aligned with your heart instead of the noise around you. It empowers you to rewrite your story at any moment. And it teaches you that identity is a journey rather than a fixed destination. Your imagined identity becomes your compass when life feels confusing. When you lose your way, it guides you back to your purpose. When you feel stuck, it reminds you of your potential. When you feel small, it shows you the strength that already exists within you. It helps you reclaim your worth when the world makes you question it. It helps you reconnect with your dreams when life makes you forget them. It gives you direction when your path feels blurred. And it keeps you anchored to the person you want to become. Each time you imagine yourself embodying your values, you step closer to becoming that version of yourself. You learn to choose peace over chaos, purpose over confusion, and courage over fear. You begin letting go of identities built in survival and embracing identities built in growth. You start seeing yourself as someone deserving of new beginnings. You allow your inner vision to lead you toward a life that feels meaningful and aligned. And you become more intentional about how you show up in the world. Eventually, you will understand that identity is not a label you wear, but a vision you nurture. You will see that the person you become is shaped by the possibilities you allow yourself to imagine. You will realize that imagination gave birth to the most authentic version of you. And in that realization, you will find comfort in knowing that you can reinvent yourself at any moment simply by imagining who you are meant to be. Imagination is the engine of destiny. Destiny does not reveal itself through certainty. It reveals itself through the quiet visions that your imagination creates long before your reality changes. It is shaped by the dreams you dare to visualize when no one else believes in them. It is fueled by the courage to imagine a life that feels purposeful and aligned. It gives direction to your spirit even when your path seems unclear. It allows possibilities to exist before they become visible. It strengthens your faith in the unseen. And it becomes the silent force guiding you toward the life meant for you. Imagination is the starting point of every destiny. Before any dream becomes real, it exists inside your mind as a whisper, a picture, a gentle spark of hope. When you imagine yourself succeeding, you begin walking in that direction. When you imagine yourself free, you begin releasing what holds you back. When you imagine yourself growing, you begin creating space for that growth. Imagination awakens your passion before your circumstances allow you to express it. It prepares your heart before life opens the door. And it strengthens your belief long before the world validates it. Destiny is not something that happens to you. It is something you build with every vision you create in your mind. Imagination fuels your courage, reminding you that you are meant for something larger than your doubts. It helps you trust the timing of your journey. It guides your steps even when you cannot see the full path ahead. It keeps your dreams alive when challenges try to silence them. It connects you to your purpose when distractions try to pull you away. And it gives you clarity in moments when everything feels uncertain. When others question your dreams, imagination stands by you as your protector. It becomes the place where your destiny remains untouched by doubt. It reassures you that what you see within you matters more than what others see around you. It keeps your inner fire burning when the world feels cold. It teaches you that your destiny does not require validation from anyone. It helps you rise above negativity and remain loyal to your purpose. And it strengthens your commitment to becoming the person your dreams need you to be. As you walk toward your destiny, there will be seasons of waiting, seasons of confusion, seasons of unexpected detours. But imagination keeps your hope alive during those seasons. It reminds you that your journey has meaning even when you cannot see it clearly. It encourages you to keep going even when the path is slow. It helps you trust that something beautiful is unfolding behind the scenes. It teaches you patience, resilience, and faith in what is yet to come. And it ensures that your destiny keeps moving within you even when life feels paused. Imagination gives you the ability to rise after every setback by reminding you of the bigger picture your heart carries. It shows you that your current situation is only a small piece of your larger purpose. It helps you reconnect to the dream when disappointment makes you forget it. It fills you with the strength to continue when quitting feels easier. It turns obstacles into reminders of how deeply your destiny is calling you. It keeps your spirit aligned with what you are meant to achieve. And it helps you see growth in moments that feel like delays. One day, you will look back and understand that your destiny didn't unfold because life was easy, but because your imagination stayed alive. You will realize that the visions you nurtured in silence became the very reality you now live. You will honor the version of you that held on to dreams even when nothing made sense. You will appreciate the courage you found in moments when hope felt distant. And you will finally see that imagination was never just a dream, it was the engine that carried you toward the life you were meant to create. At the end of the day, the greatest gift you carry within you is the ability to close your eyes and still see a world where you are stronger, braver, and more alive than your reality may allow. And that gift is imagination. It is the voice that tells you that your story is far from over. Even when life tries to convince you otherwise, it is the light that gently fills the cracks of your brokenness and turns them into openings where hope can enter again. It reminds you that no matter how heavy your past has been, your mind, he still has the power to create a vision of a future that is lighter, brighter, and worthy of your effort. With imagination, you begin to trust your journey even when its steps feel uncertain because you carry within you a picture of who you are becoming, and that picture is powerful. And as you walk forward, remember that imagination is not an escape from life, but an invitation to reshape it, elevate it, and breathe new meaning into it. It is your inner compass guiding you toward the version of yourself that refuses to give up, that refuses to shrink, that refuses to let the world decide your worth. When you imagine a better life, you quietly begin building it through every choice you make and every belief you protect. So guard your dreams, honor your visions, and hold close the images of the life you want, because your imagination is not just a thought, it is the first heartbeat of your destiny and the beginning of everything extraordinary waiting inside you.